El Mago with a great first half. And you see what he's done in comparison to the other second baseman in the National League. And he is in the lineup once again today. Great to grab that song off JD's iPod.
Let's listen again.
Cubs baseball in sparkling high definition is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today.
You might have gone with Heart. Magic Man. You know that
yeah,
one?
that would have worked.
Yeah.
Joe Musgrove pitched into the 8th today for the Pirates, and with the bases loaded and 2 outs, Brett Phillips tripled home 3 to give Milwaukee a 5-2 lead. The Pirates have scored 1 in the bottom of the 8th, and Craig Counsell has brought in his closer, Corey Knebel. So it's 5-3 Milwaukee. We will keep you posted. The Brewers have lost 5 in a row, including the first 4 games of that 5-game series. And the Cubs starting today with a 1.5 game lead in the division since May 27th. They have gained 6 games on the Brewers. Rookie left-hander Eric Lauer will face today's Southwest Airlines Cubs starting lineup. A little bit of a different look. Well, similar to the first 2 games is Anthony Rizzo leading off, but that will likely end after today. And he'll move back into the middle of the order. Chris Bryant playing right and batting second. Jason Hayward in center. Javier Baez cleans up at second base with his double play partner right behind him, Addison Russell. Ben Zobrist in left. Wilson Contreras hitless on the road trip. He's in the 7th spot. David Bote is back and playing third with the pitcher Lester batting ninth.
Padres defensively this afternoon, it's a pretty good group. Will Myers plays left. Margot, the center fielder. Hunter Renfro's got a big arm. He's in right. Villanueva and Galvis on the left side of the infield. Perella, Hosmer second first. Austin Hedges very good behind the plate, and he'll catch the rookie left-hander Eric Lauer, just 23 years of age. He's making his 16th start this year, 16th start of his major league career. He's 5-5 with a 4.40 ERA, but as we noted earlier, he got off to a very bad start and has really turned a corner. Last 8 starts, he has a 2.33. Fastball, slider, cutter has been a big pitch for him lately. Curveball and the changeup early on he was using a lot. More recently, not so much. He has an outstanding pickoff move. He's picked off 9 men already this year.
Ryan Blackney will call balls and strikes. That's Sam Holbrook, the crew chief, at first. Jim Wolf at second base and DJ Rayburn over at third. Cubs 3-2 on this road trip. 3 of the first 5 have gone to extra innings, including the Cubs' 5-4 win in 10 to start the set on Friday night. First pitch of the game is a strike, top of the zone fastball on Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, scouting report I got on him says he likes to work up in the zone with the fastball.
Popped him up behind the plate, and no play for Hedges. .78 degrees as we get started.
When you look at the overall numbers on Lauer, you go, eh. But when you think about how it's broken down from the first handful of starts to the recent work, it's obviously a work in progress. He's a young kid, just 23. First round pick 2016 out of Kent State, so he's gotten to the big leagues in a hurry, and there's that split I was talking about.
2-2 on Rizzo. Padres wearing their military camo uniforms today. It's full.
Sunday's always a military day here at the ballpark.
StatCast powered by AWS. And that is Rizzo's recent spray chart. on the infield. Anthony leading off a game in his career, 7 for 14, a double, 4 home runs, 2 walks for a .588 on base percentage. And that'll go up. He's now 8 for 15 as the first batter of the game.
This cut fastball outer third and down a little bit, and he just punches it to left field. I would think against a left-handed pitcher they would be a little less shifty.
Fourth game back from the DL for Chris Bryant. Outside, ball 1. 4 for 15 with a double and a homer since he came back on Wednesday in San Francisco. He's playing right field today with David Bodie at third. And hit a ton but foul.
Look out, folks. Take that one on the forehead. That'll ruin your Sunday, but looks like everybody's okay, and a Cub fan has secured that baseball. That's not really a big surprise because there's a whole lot of blue in the stands these days here in San Diego.
Off the inside corner.
Lauer's reputation, his pickoff move obviously preceded him. Anthony had about a 1.5-step lead. Plus he's camouflaged.
Left field foul for Bryant.
A couple good swings just out in front a little bit. Slow curveball that time from Lauer.
Cubs scored 11 last night. 6 of those runs came over the final 2 innings as they pulled away with an 11-6 win. Low. 3-2.
Looking at the game-by-game stuff on Lauer, and his velocity has been creeping up, and he had his best fastball of the year last time out, and he was dazzling against the Dodgers. Came out short of a complete game shutout when 8 2/3 allowed, just 1 run on 4 hits, punched out 8.
Short lead by Anthony. Here's the pitch. Well, they're making Lauer work pretty hard. 2 batters in. Both guys have taken it to a full count. You mentioned a Kent State product. He's from the Cleveland area. Hometown of Elyria, Ohio. And he'll fire over. You see that really good move. He'll pick off a guy even if he's a step off the bag.
Yeah, and most lefties with a good move, it's that slow, deceptive leg kick, and they catch the base runner cheating. Well, Lauer, he's just real quick.
Another foul out of play. Earlier this year, Lauer had a 5-start pickoff streak. That's the longest in Padres history. Pitch number 15 of the inning. And here it is.
Yeah, when you live with that elevated fastball, you run into this. A lot of deep counts, a lot of foul balls, and the pitch count can rise in a hurry, especially against a patient team like the Cubs.
So his pitching coach in the Padres dugout, Darren Balsley. And yet another foul. So Rizzo saw 7 pitches. Bryant will see at least 10. Jason Hayward waits on deck. He walked him. Good start. Statistically, the Cubs have had the best offense in the league here in the first half. Over 5 runs per game. They lead in batting average, on base percentage, and OPS, and they have the best record against left-handed starters at 16-6. Hayward 2 hits, 2 runs last night. He's got a 782 OPS. In his career before he signed with the Cubs, it was 784. So this is the guy the Cubs signed prior to 2016 after a couple of down years offensively. Two and 0. Not letting Lauer get comfortable here in the first inning.
Get a little pressure on him early. That's the value of having patient hitters at the top of the batting order. Not just patient, but dangerous, right? So you put him in a position where, with Riz and Bryant, he wants to be cautious, but they're patient, so they're not going out of the zone. They're forcing him to throw a lot of pitches, and the next thing you know, he's backed himself into a corner with first and second and nobody out.
Rizzo opened the game with a base hit. Bryant worked a 10-pitch walk. And now 2-0 on Hayward. Absolutely crushed, but he was way out in front of it.
We talked about his ability to work effectively up in the zone, but typically you're throwing something down, or either fastball down, a breaking pitch, getting ahead in the count, and then you elevate to take advantage of a hitter's anxiety. He's been up throughout this inning.
Long pause at the set. Now a 2-1, and that ball will hold up for Renfroe. So Hayward with a soft liner for the first out. Let's check out our Lexus Run Predictor, brought to you by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer. First and second with 1 out. We'll add a couple of percentage points. We'll call it the Almago factor. Tied for the league lead with 71 knocked in. As we mentioned on the leadoff man, he wasn't feeling very well physically before the game last night. And Hedges, man, he's been knocked around a lot. He got hit on a couple of backswings on Friday night, and I think this one caught him in the glove hand.
Yep.
Back of the left hand. Just another thing for a big league catcher to nurse during the All-Star break. Here's the 0-1, low and in.
Joe had talked about giving Javi a day off this weekend leading into the break, since he's not going to get a break, participating in both the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby, but obviously opted to keep running him out there.
I think Almora not being available these last 2 days may be affecting that as well.
Especially with the lefty starter here today.
That's a base hit. And the Cubs will grab an early lead as Rizzo will score. Javier Baez with RBI number 72.
Yep. Pulled off it a little bit, end of the bat, but gets the job done. Delivers the RBI single into left center. So Rizzo bouncing and reading the secondary, and then off he goes. Well, this will be kind of fun, the cat and mouse with Baez on first and Lauer with that good pickoff move.
So not a lot of hard contact, but some deep counts early. And Russell with runners at first and third and a 1-0 lead. Takes a strike. Throw over. Baez able to read it. He chats with Will Venable, the former Padre outfielder, current Cubs first base coach.
What makes Lauer so effective, his stride towards first base is abbreviated. It's not a long stride. He puts his foot down quickly and then snaps the ball over there. Most guys just, you don't anticipate that against a lefty. That might have been a balk. He does have to step towards first base. It looked to me like that front foot was more towards home plate on that one.
Finally an 0-1. Baez, by the way, is headed back to first, so that's how good that Lauer move is. He actually pitched on that one, and Baez thought he was throwing to first. Oh, 2 is inside. Russell's quietly had a really nice first half all the way around. And a nice stretch with the bat here lately. Toward the middle and through, and Bryant will score. Baez on his way to third. Margot's throw is late. Russell takes advantage. He gets to second to stay out of the double play. It's 2-0.
And the line keeps moving, and the Cubs so good at going first to third, always willing to challenge. And it's not a terrible play by Margot to take a shot at Baez there, but he didn't get him, and good heads up base running by Russell to get into scoring position.
Darren Balsley will head out to talk it over. 3 hits and a walk here in the opening inning. And the Padres have used 2 of their 6 allotted mound visits. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Pirates trail by 2 in the ninth, but they have 2 on with nobody out against Corey Knebel. Infield in for San Diego against Ben Zobrist. Batting right-handed against the lefty. And the pitch fouled out of play.
Yeah, interesting. Andy Green, he did this last night too. Not this early in the game, but 2 men in scoring position. He brought the infield in. That's normally more of a later game strategy when a base hit scores 2 as opposed to just 1. But his club has a hard time scoring runs. He's up against John Lester. He's got a 2.45 ERA, so he's probably thinking, I can't afford to concede anything, even though it's only the first inning. And Matt Strom, the lefty, is starting to crank it up. It's all in day here, the final day before the All-Star break.
Everybody gets a few days off after this. One strike offer. Low and in on a fastball. JD mentioned it earlier. Lauer coming off quite an outing against the Dodgers. 8 2/3. But he's struggling to get out of the first inning today. Diving stop. Villanueva. He'll throw to first. He got Zobrist, but a run scores. So Ben will get an RBI as Baez is in, and it's 3-0. And the Cubs want to make sure Hosmer was still on the bag when he pulled his foot off. So they're looking at the replay in the video room. Really close.
I'm a little bit surprised he didn't. Yeah, Javi thought he was going to come home. I'm surprised he didn't. He actually turned inside. He never even looked at home. But you're playing infield in to cut off the run. It was sharply hit. I guess his internal clock told him that he was not going to have a play on Baez there, but it's really surprised that he didn't look home first.
Runner at third, 2 outs. Now the All-Star Contreras. 0 for his last 14, including 0 for 12 on this trip.
Be frustrating for the manager, right? You play the infield in to cut off the run, and you don't even take a look at making a play on the guy coming down from third.
In on the hands, and he fights it off foul. The break is shorter than what you would expect. Cubs playing out here on the West Coast, so one of the last games on this Sunday, and they will host the Cardinals, the only Thursday game coming out of the break, and that'll start a 5-game series over 4 days. Actually,
and so they're going to need a starter for Monday. They're going to need another guy, right?
The upcoming homestand will be 9 games and 2 teams. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Yeah, the plan right now is to use the 5 starters for that series against the Cardinals, and then a 6th starter a week from tomorrow to open up that Arizona series. Contreras foul tips, and that's it. But the Cubs get 3 before John Lester takes the ball. Renfroe 1, 2, and 3. Hosmer has really been struggling as of late, even though he hit a home run last night, his first in over a month. Villanueva, the former Cub farmhand, struggling in terms of his average, but 18 home runs on the season. Perella at second. Galvis is short. He has started every game. Hedges, the catcher, has been in a very hot stretch, including 3 hits Friday. And the pitcher Lauer bats 9.
Cubs afield, set up this way. Jason Hayward will roam center. Zobrist and Bryant will flank him. Bodie back in there at third base. Russell and Baez as good as it gets up the middle. Rizzo's first. Contreras is behind the plate, and our Blue Cross Blue Shield starting pitcher is the big lefty John Lester. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. It has been an outstanding year for John. 18 starts, 11-2 with a 2.45 earned run average. Does most of his work down around the knees. He'll do it with sinkers and cutters. He'll elevate every now and then with a four-seamer. Curveball, changeup have both been really good for him this year.
One and one on Manuel Margot. Make it 2-1.
No decision last time out for John. It was against the Reds at home. Went 6 1/3, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits.
High fly ball out in the deep left. Zobrist is on the warning track, and he'll have room. Hit really well, but Margot put too much air underneath it.
He's got underneath it a little bit, and it stays in the yard for out number 1. No decision for John last time. The club won that game. That snapped his personal 7-game winning streak, but the team has won his last 8.
Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Pirates loaded the bases with nobody out in the 9th. Corey Knebel got a double play ball. They scored a run to make it a 1-run game. And then David Freese with a 2-out 2-strike triple to tie the game. Wow. 1-0 to Will Myers is hit foul. He's been slowed down by this Cubs pitching staff. Came in red hot. He's 1 for 8 with a walk in the series. Freese just missed a game-winning homer by a couple of feet. Banged it off the high wall in right.
Myers 2 out of 13 in his career against John Lester, who was 2-1 lifetime against the Pods with a .297. This is start number 6 for him against San Diego. It's his second career start in this ballpark.
John hasn't lost since May 23rd. A win today, and he would be the 8th Cub with 12 wins in the first half. Swing and a miss. That's 3-2. It's a little nebulous though when you talk pre-All-Star break, because that changes in terms of games played for various teams. And we started early in the All-Star game, a little later this year, as he rings up Myers. So 2 down, and now Hunter Renfroe making his only start of the series, a pinch hit 2-run homer in the 7th last night. We got the Padres within 1 at the time.
Yeah, big strong kid, all kinds of power.
Just a little low.
26 home runs for the Padres last year, 25 doubles and a triple. .467 slugging percentage. He strikes out a whole bunch and doesn't walk very much.
10th inning in Pittsburgh, 5-5. Ball 4. Boy, Lester had 3 pitches there that he would have loved to get and didn't get any of them. So now he'll face Hosmer with 2 outs and a man on.
That one's probably a little low.
Hey, it's a big day. Cubs want to win on Tom Hellman's birthday.
Otis Day.
Yeah, the Cubs fine clubhouse manager. Hit hard, but on the ground to Baez. The flip to Russell, and that's it. A scoreless first for Lester, and the Cubs lead early, 3-zip.
And now it is time for the Illinois Department of Transportation Safe Play Replay. Austin Hedges has been banged around here this weekend. He needs a suit of armor a couple times in the coconut. Follow through by Javi gets him on the wrist. Brought to you by IDOT, reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life or death. Learn more at lifeordeathillinois.com.
David Bodie is back. The Cubs today placed Albert Almora Jr. on the family medical emergency list. And Bodie, who had been sent out earlier on this trip with the return of Chris Bryant, makes his 11th start at third and his 12th overall. And he just got clipped. And the Cubs have a base runner to start the second. Monday, July 23rd, the Cubs welcome in the Diamondbacks at 7:05 p.m. Up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans get a Javier Baez bobblehead presented by Garrett Popcorn Shops. A good selection of tickets are still available for that game. Visit Cubs.com to get the seat you want.
Chewing on a yellow balloon?
Guessing it was bubble gum. Villanueva charging, but the ball goes back to Lauer. Throw to second in time. Safe at first is Lester. Good on John for running it out. A lot of pitchers kind of watch their handiwork, but he took off and was able to stay out of the double play.
Yeah, and a good aggressive play there by Lauer, because normally a guy like Bodie who can run pretty well. I didn't see Hedges pointing. He might have been yelling, but normally you'll take your direction from the catcher there on that play. And usually the thinking is, let's just make sure we get an out, not take any risk. But when you're down 3, Maybe it's worth it to be a little more aggressive, and it pays off.
Rizzo batting. Swing and a miss. Galvis playing right between second and third on the baseline. Everybody else on the right side of the infield.
Watch John Lester's lead here.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, this is good. He's not going anywhere. Oh, there he goes, because Hosmer has backed off.
How about that? Rizzo, 2 hits to the opposite field. Lester on his way to third. Rizzo towards second. It's a double. He's 2 for 2.
Anthony Carew,
the shift buster.
Look at Big John, a little pop-up slide, playing the whole game.
And the infield will come in here in the second inning.
Halfway in here now, with Lester at third base. And I really think they can afford to play deeper, especially on the pull side. John's not going to be going on contact here. He's going to read the ball off the bat. If it doesn't get through, he's not going to go. If you're the Padres, you're giving up what? A little bit of reaction time, a little bit of range. I think it would be worth it again on the pull side to play deeper here with John being the base runner at third.
Slightly to pull in the outfield. Ryan waits on a 1-1. 10-pitch walk in the first inning. Game number 93 for the Cubs. And we'll end the first half with the best record in the National League for the first time since 2008. Low, and it's 2-2. Lauer's 2-2, and then he's run it full with Hayward on deck. This has the makings of a very short start for Lauer, and to really labor to get through the first inning, and he's nearing 50 pitches already, and he's only recorded 4 outs. Big strikeout for him as he gets Bryant. That's his second of the day. And with 2 outs, it brings up Hayward.
Is it a riding fastball or maybe a little backdoor cutter? But up and gets the swing through.
Milwaukee has taken a 6-5 lead in the 10th in Pittsburgh. Cubs a game and a half ahead. Starting play today.
According to MLB Pipeline, their prospect rankings coming into the season, Lauer was number 13 on the Padre list. So for a guy who was a first-round pick 2 years ago in the big leagues at such a tender age, the fact that he was only their 13th best prospect, at least according to one ranking service, that gives you some idea of how deep their system is.
Hayward takes a strike. Padres widely considered to have one of the best systems in the game. Padres, Braves, White Sox. generally among the top 3 or 4. The 0-1 to Hayward. Now 0-2.
White Sox in rebuilding, Padres as well. I guess that's what's so impressive about the Braves. They're playing winning baseball right now, and at least they have some of their young prospects already in the big leagues, but still a deep system. Future looks bright in Atlanta.
Ground ball, softly hit. Galvis can't get it, and 2 runs will score. How about that? Jason Hayward with a 2-run single. It's 5-0.
In football, they would call that a slow developing play. Just a little roller, but perfectly placed. This had to be excruciating for Lauer to watch this one roll past him and then trickle into center field, plating 2.
And again, nothing hit very hard here in the 2nd inning. But it's all about location. Baez with a foul strike.
Yeah, well, you know, the walk factored in the first, the hit by pitch of Bodie to start this inning. So, you know, he's made some mistakes. He's also been victimized by some bad fortune. His last year at Kent State, he had an 0.69 ERA.
Yeah, that was the best college ERA since 1979.
It's going back to what the Floyd Bannister era, right? He was 10-2. Trying to figure out how he lost 2 games with an 0.69.
Right. Smart student. Lauer took some courses at Lorain Community College while he was still in high school. Originally had committed to Kentucky before changing his mind and choosing Kent State. Maybe he got a visit from Steve Stone.
Maybe. So I want to walk in Stoney's path someday.
Baez strikes out. Cubs add to their lead. 5-0 in the 2nd inning as they go for the sweep. It's a cutter high for ball one. 2 for 7 with a double in the series. And special for him to be playing in the big leagues against one of his former organizations. Originally signed by the Rangers out of Mexico, 2008, but spent some time with the Cubs, and in 2016 he was let go by the organization. He missed that whole season with a fractured leg and kind of got lost in the shuffle with the depth the Cubs had ahead of him at third base. And he lines one for a base hit in front of Zobrist.
Padres fought back in the ballgame a couple of times last night. Still plenty of outs to get. Awfully comfortable though, handing John Lester a big lead this early in the ballgame.
Jose Perella, the second baseman. Kind of like, you know, putting together a very intricate jigsaw puzzle when you think about an organization, all the minor league players you have. You got your 25-man big league roster, so you got a big board, and as you look at that board at any given time, you see a lot of big league talent or future big league talent in your system. But as time goes on, as guys reach that 6-year free agency in the minors, you try to figure out, okay, how does he fit within our organization? There are times where you have to let go some guys you know are going to be in the big leagues at some point.
Guys are running out of options, or expose them to the Rule 5 draft. If you stockpile enough talent, that's what allows you to move prospects to get proven major league players.
Popped up on the infield, and Anthony lets it drop. They get one, and that's it. And Perella, he kind of jogged, then he stopped, then he started jogging. I like that play by Rizzo. Just keep guys honest. It wasn't that high, so there wasn't a huge risk of that ball getting away from him, and he knew Villanueva couldn't get too far off the bag.
Well, the play might have been to go to the bag and then possibly get Villanueva in a rundown, because I think actually the trade-off favors the Padres. I think they got a little more speed on first base now than they did with Villanueva. And I think Anthony's nodding to Baez, because yeah, maybe the play was go to first and then make that throw to second.
I like that they're thinking it through.
The thinking is good. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what good baseball players do. They talk the game. They sit around in the clubhouse afterwards, or they're on a team flight or team bus and say, hey, you know, if this happens, we got to try this, or be aware, I might try to pull this off.
2-0 on Freddie Galvis. So one guy who benefited from Villanueva leaving the organization, Jamer Candelario getting traded last year to Detroit, is David Bodie.
Yeah, he's moved up the depth chart. Well, that's the other part of it too. The organization has to know their players better than anybody else, and not only who's ahead of a guy, but who's behind him. Like, well, if we deal this guy, do we have somebody coming up behind him that's going to be comparable or perhaps even better? The Chef Series presented by Maker's Mark offers fans a dynamic menu inspired by celebrity chefs and their take on ballpark favorites. The next featured chef is Rick Bayless, whose Mexican cuisine will be featured July 19th through July 26th. For details, visit Cubs.com/chef series. They should have trading cards of all the chefs. I'd buy that set.
Yeah.
You could take it into their restaurant and have them sign it.
Now the catcher hedges. One more thing on organizational depth, and that is having a spot for everybody to play at each affiliate. Tell you what I mean after the pitch. So if you have two third basemen you love in your system and they're kind of at the same point in their development, they both can't play on the same team. So one guy might end up back at AA while the other guy's at AAA, and so you've got to parse your playing time around the system to the point where you feel like everyone's getting enough reps.
Yeah, and you'll see, especially with the middle infielders, you know, play all over the diamond in the lower minor leagues. You'd like to expose guys to different positions to see if they're capable of handling it.
Cubs have been very good at that, creating defensive versatility. Two men on. Cubs lead 5-0. Into left, Zobrist in. He makes a sliding grab. Everybody back to their bases.
Zoe has been rock solid. Committed an error in San Francisco the other day, the first he's made all year. That's not just in the outfield, that's with his work on the infield as well.
Franmil Reyes will bat for the starter Lauer, who just could not settle in. The Cubs wouldn't let him. 2 innings, 5 runs allowed.
Yeah, it was going to be a short day for him anyway. Now they send a big power guy up there with a couple guys on base. Can flip the script in this ball game if he can deliver.
Here's a throw behind the runner. They got him. Remember, Perella reached as Rizzo let that ball drop. And the lead man this time, and Contreras with a strike to second base.
Got him.
Oh, man, what a tag by Baez. 5-0 after 2. By Xfinity. One reason Wilson Contreras is an all-star is because of his cannon for an arm. And he teams up with Baez to get Perella.
Yeah, and accuracy right on the money with that throw, and so the Padres burn their pinch hitter. And that's just horrible base running by Perella, down 5 to get picked off there at second base.
And we're looking to get the highlight. You will not believe how the game ended in Pittsburgh today. Here's Matt Strom, a left-hander. Brewers scored, as I mentioned, in the 10th. There was another Brett Phillips hit. He had the triple earlier to give them the lead. In the bottom of the 10th, it started to downpour. I mean, to the point where it looked like they were going to have to delay the game. 2 outs, first and third. Josh Bell hit a ball over Lorenzo Cain in center. The relay throw to the plate bounced and went through the legs of the catcher, and the winning run scored. Milwaukee gets swept in 5 games in Pittsburgh, and the Brewers go into the break having lost 6 in a row.
And they finally scored some runs. Their offense have been really lagging. They scored today, still lose.
And Josh Bell had a huge weekend.
They had a comfortable lead late and let it get away. That will really knock them over the break.
A little worried about Cato's mental health. You see his tweets yesterday? Ew.
No, I didn't. You're talking about Cato.
Yeah.
Galen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
Fly ball to right. Renfroe over, and he'll grab it.
Hey, Chicagoland viewers, it's time for the Subway third inning triple play promotion. Text Subway to 97999 right now, and the 300th texter will win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area. Subway, so much sandwich. Strom was traded over here to the Padres last year. A deal with the Kansas City Royals.
Ground ball to Galvis. The shortstop will throw to Hosmer in time.
Padres bullpen has been their best asset. This guy has pitched well. Brad Hand is going to the All-Star game. Kirby Yates having a very nice year. Craig Stammen has been solid.
Swing and a miss. Contreras hit by a fastball as he heads down to first base.
Second hit batter of the game. Bodie got it to lead off the second. Appeared to be more of a glancing blow, maybe just brushed his jersey, but this one got a good piece of Wilson. Gee, that right on the outside of the knee.
Yeah.
That's no fair. You take it, you know, the beating the catchers take behind the plate to get that in the batter's box. It's just unjust. Strom, a bullpen guy who uses a starter's mix. Those 4 pitches, fastball, curve, slider, and change. Got a little Craig Kimbrell there when he starts.
He's gone 2-0 on Bodie, so it'll be a long bullpen day for the Padres.
See the Kimbrell right there with the arm?
Yeah.
Bent over at the waist.
On the line, out of play.
Not a bad guy to imitate.
Right. Strom from West Fargo, North Dakota. Oh, wait a minute. Strom and Bodie, yeah. This is the Neosho County Community College matchup.
Were they mates there?
I believe they were.
Strom was 26. How old is David? About that, right?
Oh, this is fun. It's a strike, and the throw, the first. They got Contreras. So Contreras, who picked off Perella, gets picked off himself. Cubs lead 5-0 in the third. A Cubs blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. So we'll have to resume that Neosho County Community College matchup in the top of the fourth, as Strom will bat here. As you mentioned, they burned Franmil Reyes because of Perella getting picked off second base.
Yeah, so they had a chance to have a slugger having that bat with two guys on base down 5, and that pickoff cost them that opportunity and forces Strom to lead off to third. I mean, it doesn't force them to. They could have double switched, but it's awfully early for that. They could pinch hit here, but it's awfully early in the game to start using your bench like that. So that was a potentially devastating pickoff by Contreras, and he's picked off 5 this year, most in the game.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Visit the Cubs Authentics auction page every week for your chance to own one-of-a-kind Cubs items. This week's auction includes the players' favorite things baskets. Go to Cubs.com Authentics before 8 tonight to place your bid. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics items to Cubs charities.
kind of lost in the shuffle of the Brewers getting swept is that the Pirates winning their final 5 over Milwaukee going into the break are within a game of the 500 mark as they try to get back into a playoff race.
Brewers are now 19-25 against the Central Division.
Pirates winning actually their last 6 in a row. As Zobrist makes the catch, Margot is out.
Well, he's got that high fly ball to left, mastered. He's done that twice today.
Central's been really tough, top to bottom. Reds have played much better baseball after their terrible start. The Cardinals did win today under their new manager, interim skipper Mike Schilt. Outside to Myers.
And Dexter Fowler hit a home run today. Dexter, who obviously he and Mike Matheny did not see eye to eye. Dexter had lost playing time. We'll see now with this reset if he's back in there on a near everyday basis. Cardinals have said Schilt will manage for the rest of the year. So they will do their due diligence to come up with their manager prior to next season, but it's Schilt's job until the end of this season at least.
Cool looking bat for Will Myers. I don't know if it's kind of that camo look. That's got the distance, but it's foul. He banged it off the Western Metal Supply Company wall. They don't have a pole out there. It's the corner of that building. It's really neat. Well, this ballpark was built right up against that building that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're, a kid playing on the playground or playing at the elementary school. And
called strike 3. Myers
got rung up last time.
Really upset with those 2 calls in the first and the third, so he'll chat with Brian Blackney, who lets him say his piece. Strom and Bodie, former college teammates. At a place that doesn't, have a lot of recognition, Neosho County Community College, but You've got a really nice program there. And strike on David. Here's the pitch. Fouled off.
So this is bragging rights here. This isn't just another AB in a major league game. This is high stakes poker. Got a lively arm, Strom. Slings it up there.
Almost hit him. 2-2. Full count with the pitcher Lester on deck. Cubs got 3 in the first, 2 in the second. And then that was it for the starter Eric Lauer. He walked him. Here's how that wild game ended in Pittsburgh in the pouring rain.
It wasn't at that time.
Line drive towards center. Over the head of Kane. This might win it. Josh Bell into second. Runner being waved home. Here comes the throw to the plate. He's going to be safe. The ball gets away. The Pirates walk it off. They've won 5 against the Brewers. Unbelievable. Raise the Jolly Roger in the rain. Enjoy the break. Buccos win it.
Greg Brown with the call. Boy, they had Moran dead to rights at the plate, and the ball went right through the legs of Eric Kratz.
Wet ball, wet grass. Looked like it skipped a little bit on him, and he was probably taking a peek to find Moran and didn't catch the baseball. And Kane was fooled too. He could the break he got on it. He didn't realize that it had been hit that hard. Pirates back to within 1 of 500 now.
One and one to Lester, bunted into a fielder's choice, and later scored his first time up. Villanueva way in, and he will make the catch. And Bodie was off first, but there was nobody there to take the throw. Hey, the 4th inning is brought to you by Wendy's 4 for $4, now with more choices than ever at participating locations for a limited time.
John, who's usually very reliable getting his bunts down, been successful twice today, moving the lead runner along.
A laser foul to right.
Anthony with a hit and a walk in the ball game last night. 3 consecutive hits his last 3 at bats in the opener of this series. Perhaps poised for a big second half.
Yeah, this series came at the right time for Anthony. And not in a ballpark that he really particularly likes. His career numbers not good going back to his early days in the big leagues as a Padre. And I would also claim if you're going good at the plate, doesn't matter where you're hitting. Ballpark, spot in the lineup, you'll get your hits. Now there you see it, under 200 lifetime here at Petco. The other thing that happens is sometimes you can ask a hitter or a pitcher, do you like this park? Do you like this matchup? And sometimes the answer you will get does not match the success or failure. You'll have a comfortable at bat against a guy and strike out, or you'll say, I never get a good look at this pitcher, and you go, well, you're hitting 340 against him in 40 at bats. Still 2-2.
Yeah, I went back just for grins. I went back and looked at Anthony in this ballpark since the 2014 season. 11 out of 53 at 208 average.
Right, so I don't think he'll leave this weekend feeling any better about hitting in this park. He'll just feel better about his season. Bodie runs the pitch low, the throw into center, and Bodie will take off for third. Third stolen base and add an error on Hedges.
That's another part that Bodie brings to the table. He's got good speed, capable of swiping a bag. Hedges has been good, shutting down the running game, but not that time. And once again, the infield in.
A fly ball to left. It's deep enough for Bodie to go. Myers makes the catch. Here comes the throw to the plate, and he scores. Rizzo with his 61st RBI, and it's 6-0.
Well, good work by Bodie. Sets Anthony up, and Anthony delivers. Myers with a strong arm, not always accurate. That one would have had to been right on the money for there to be a play at all on Bodie.
Swinging bunt. Tough play, Hedges, and he throws it away. Second error of the inning. Bryant on his way to second. Throw there, offline.
Oh, why not? They're going to throw it away. Just go. Got a little Almago working. I bet you if we get a shot of the dugout, Almago was in there casting a spell like Hermione during the Quidditch match.
So I'm going to guess infield hit. E2, E9.
Infield hit, yard sale. Flying all over the place.
Strike to Hayward.
They give him a knock?
Yes. Single, E2, E9. Oh, 2 on Hayward. He knocked in a pair with a roller up the middle in the second.
Well, going back to last night, the Cubs have now scored in 5 of the last 6 innings in which they've come to bat.
Off the end of the bat, popped in the air back of short, and it's Galvis to glove. The Cubs add a run to their lead. It's 6-0 in the fourth. Time now to see who's got momentum. Brought to you by First Midwest Bank. You see the lowest ERA since June 1st. Eric Lauer, that was going into today. So he'll take a hit, 2 innings, 5 runs. But John Lester hasn't allowed a run as he takes the ball in the fourth. First Midwest Bank Connect with a momentum maker today.
For the season coming into play today, John's 2.45 earned run average was good for 5th best in the NL. DeGrom, Stripling, Nola, Scherzer, and then John 1 through 5.
Big swing by Renfroe.
I tell you, the guy who's probably deserves a little more credit is the Freeland kid out in Colorado, who's got a 3.11 pitching his home games in that ballpark.
Got him looking. Number 4 for John.
Third one looking, twice Myers, now Renfroe gets caught taking a peek.
Lester an all-star for the 5th time. 2nd time as a Cub. Will not pitch Tuesday. One and 2 on Eric Hosmer. Homered last night He is 5 for his last 60. Villanueva on deck. Cubs lead 6-0 here in the 4th. Lester with that slow windup, and the pitch is bounced foul at the plate.
Very consistent delivery. That's what allows him to command the ball as well as he does. He stays on that back leg. A strong human being.
Not currently on a 200 inning pace, making his 19th start. Came in with 106 and a third innings last year, about 181 innings. I really think over the next few years, the starting pitchers are going to have to recalibrate, because 200 innings is just not something that's going to be done very often. I think like 180, 185 might be the new 200.
Last year, 9 guys did it. No, check that. 7 guys in the National League threw 200 innings.
Right, so 15 teams.
And the
top 3 starters,
yeah.
45 guys all say, I want 200 innings.
Not gonna happen.
7 did it.
The bullpen usage has changed the nature of the game. Jeff Samardzija led all National League pitchers last year through 207 innings.
Hosmer strikes out swinging.
This Friday the 20th at 7:30, bring the family out and enjoy the Under Armour All-America game at Wrigley Field. This will be your first chance to catch the country's top high school baseball players. Unless you're a scout, you've probably already seen them. You can get free tickets while they last, available in person at the Cubs store at Gallagher Way. Limit 6 tickets per person. No purchase necessary. Visit Cubs.com/UA game for more information.
The Cubs first round pick this year, Nico Horner, has homered for South Bend. Congrats to Miguel Amaya, playing on the World team in the Futures game today in D.C. Padres prospect Fernando Tatis Jr. is 2 for 3 in that ball game with a stolen base. Pop foul to left, and not a play by Villanueva. Two and two.
Talking about starting pitchers and innings pitched. Last year there were only 31 pitchers in the National League with enough innings to qualify, be listed among the league leaders. That threshold may have to change too.
It's 2 per team. Cubs' final regular season game in California this year.
Hey, check that guy out.
Pulled down the left field line and deep, and it is gone. Villanueva with a home run, is 19th of the year, and the Padres score for the first time today.
Well, he singled first time, and this has to feel good against his former organization. Home run number 19 for Villanueva, 13th allowed by John this year.
Kind of a little Tiger Stadium right field porch-ish out there. They've got a little deck hanging over left field, and it hit the facing. As you see, Zobrist thought he might have a play on it.
Yeah, I like this ballpark. I like some of the visuals. I like some of the funky angles in the outfield. Mostly like the fact that the weather's kind of like this pretty much every day out here.
It's not too big. It feels like even in the upper deck you're fairly close to the field. There's not a ton of foul territory. Got that great park out beyond.
Yeah, what is it?
Right center.
$5 to sit out there?
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I guess it's a little more expensive than that.
It used to be $5.
Base hit Perella. With 2 outs, he's on for Galvis.
Freddie, for a time there, he was kind of caddying for Jimmy Rollins over in Philadelphia. 2015, he took over as the regular there. Played 151 games, 158 games the next year, and then all 162 last season.
High drive out into center field. It's Jason Hayward to end the inning. Villanueva 2-out homer. It's the Cubs 6 and the Padres 1 after 4.
Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Join the team that enjoys responsibly. Budweiser reminds you to drink wiser.
the Colonel. We think about Jerry Coleman every time we come here to San Diego. Baez, first pitch swinging, deep right center. Renfroe back at the warning track, and he runs it down in the deepest part of the ballpark.
Yeah, it's where his home run went last night. This time he doesn't quite get all of it, and Renfroe able to run it down.
Bidding for his 20th. Just missed. Late Jerry Coleman might have dropped an "oh, doctor" on that one.
Could hang a star on it.
Yeah.
Or he might have said, and Renfroe hits his head off the wall and it's rolling back in towards the infield. Oh, this is a most unfortunate thing.
We've got a reliever throwing up in the bullpen. Line to Villanueva. Russell with an unfortunate placing of that liner.
The Cubs Authentic page, every week you should visit that for your chance to own one-of-a-kind Cubs items. This week's auction, you know what it includes? Game-used items from the 4th of July. Go to Cubs.com/authentics before 8 tonight. We must have concurrent auctions going on. Proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics will go to Cubs charities.
Some of your best ad-lib work.
All kinds of auctions going on. So there's baseball, right? Early on, soft contact turning into hits and runs. Here, a couple really well struck balls turned into outs.
Zobrist pops it up. 6-pitch inning. Cubs 6.
Hey, who'd give me 5? Give me 5. Who'd give me 5? Give me 5. Give me 5. Who'd give me 5? Got 5. Give me 10. Who'd give me 10? Give me 10.
Cubs host the D-backs at 7:05. Up to the first 10,000 of early arriving fans. Get a 1980s Cubs replica away jersey presented by Benjamin Moore. A good selection of tickets are still available for this game. Visit Cubs.com to get the seats you want. That'll be a very popular giveaway. Hedges a pinch hitter and Margot against John Lester here in the 5th inning.
Padre hitters taking issue with Ryan Blackney's strike zone today, as John's been able to exploit a little wiggle room off the outside corner. It's actually a good pitch. You see Contreras saying, "That's on me. If I catch that one, maybe we get it."
Hedges with 2 of their 3 errors in the 4th inning. First time since 2011 the Padres had committed 3 in 1 inning.
I believe Tommy John once committed 3 errors on the same play.
Really?
Like muffed a comebacker, then picked it up and threw it away, and then as the ball was coming back into the infield, he cut it off and tried to make another throw and threw that away.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. You are correct. Tommy John pitching as a 45-year-old with the Yankees in 1988 versus Milwaukee.
Yeah. It's amazing that he was still going at 45. What a career he had. I think a lot of younger folks think he's just a surgery.
Pinch hitter A.J. Ellis flies to Bryant in right. 2 down in the Padres' 5th. Jeffrey Leonard tapped one to the first base side with Jim Gantner at first. John bobbled it. That was the first error. Threw past Don Mattingly for the second error. Dave Winfield picked it up. I guess the ball first hit the ball boy and was throwing home. John cut off that throw and threw to the plate and missed the target for error number 3. Margot fouls. Well, it's just human nature when you make a mistake to try to immediately make up for it. Pretty good bunt, and Bodie will let it roll. Foul.
Didn't have much choice, because if it comes in and tries to make a play on it, it's going to be a base hit. Ball had a little side spin, and not a bad idea, not a bad effort by Margot. We'll have to try again. Flew out to left field both times. First time pretty deep to the warning track. He's one of the young guys. I feel like he's got a chance to be a really good player.
That's a base hit. And maybe more. Margot will stop with a single. Will Myers has had a tough go, caught looking twice, and both times pretty aggravated with the calls made by Ryan Blackney. Strike one on the outside corner. Fastball at 92.
gets rung up on a borderline pitch this time. Might see an ejection.
That comes back. It's fair.
He stopped running.
He did, and he's out.
Oh my goodness!
The Padres have played a very sloppy game today in terms of base running and defense. And Will Myers should have beaten out that ground ball, but as you see, it came back fair, and Bodie throws him out. Still 6-1.
It's brought to you by Meyer, true Chicago fans.
6-1, all Cubs, as they go for the 3-game sweep and a 4-2 road trip. Right-hander Adam Simber. And a foul from Contreras. Strom did a good job. He gave up 1 unearned run in his 3 innings of relief work.
Peruse the numbers on the submariner Simber.
There's a base hit. Contreras snaps in 0 for 15. There's the triple error play. 1988 Tommy John.
They'll only be able to get 1 if they can get that here.
Error number 1. Error number 2.
John does not normally make that kind of mistake. They're going to try to score again there. And Tommy.
Error number 3.
Tommy John should have stayed out of the way both times, but he's in there, and they'll go on, and he will.
Fair ball off the bat of David Bodie. Contreras will stop at third. It's a double. David on all 3 times, hit by pitch, walk, steal, and a double in his return from Iowa.
Yeah, every time he comes up, he finds a way to do something positive. Gets on top of that submarining fastball, whacks it into the left field corner. On second and third, nobody out as the Cubs try to really put this one away. It's Bill White and Phil Rizzuto on the call. Tommy should have been backing up home when that ball came in from the outfield. Never mind cutting it off.
Infield in. For about the 18th time in this game. Cubs have had a lot of traffic. Strike called. The best was Lou Pinella's reaction in the Yankee dugout. Strike two.
Don Slott, I believe, the catcher.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like that's good stuff.
Look at Simber's left foot pointing right at the camera in center field as he comes
Yeah,
set.
there's everything funky about this guy. His delivery, his setup. That is really fun.
Runners stay put as Villanueva gets Lester. Well, now back to the top, and Rizzo, 2 hits and a sac fly, has scored twice.
Let's see if they pitched him here with the base open.
He will be intentionally walked. The MLB.TV All-Star Sale is here for $39.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this sale. Bases loaded. 1 out, 6th inning. Swing and a miss by Bryant.
From John Lester's part of the world. Born in Portland, lives in Seattle.
Still 2 strikes to Bryant. Cubs kind of set the tone real early today. Rizzo singled after a good battle against the starter Lauer. Bryant worked a 10-pitch walk. The Cubs would score 3 times in that first inning. He got hit and will get a painful RBI as a result. It's 7-1.
Third hit batsman of the day by Padre pitching. Nothing nefarious about any of them.
All right, so 3 hit by pitches, 3 errors in 1 inning. They've had a couple of base running mistakes.
Yeah, it's been
the easy narrative is last game of the first half with last place team, but who knows? Hayward with a 2-run single in the second, picking up career RBIs 500 and 501.
Right, still in some pain down there at first base. Before we go here, Joe just wants to make sure he's good. Continues to look out there.
Outside on Hayward.
No, I think just the nature of baseball. I think really good teams can have days like this, and bad teams probably have more than good teams, and the Padres are having one today. The physical errors the manager can live with. Some of the mental stuff to pick off. Myers not running down to first.
Shot foul to left. Time to let's go places. Brought to you by Toyota. Good work on the road here by Hayward.
Yeah, it has to be just a really good feeling for him to have this bounce back season. And you can tell just watching his body language, the passion with which he is playing. And not that he didn't play with passion before, but he's really engaged.
Toyota, let's go places. 1-1 on him. Low and inside. Strikeout rate at 11%. That's really good.
And league average is around 23%.
Yeah, so it's less than half. And while the contact hasn't always been hard, he's giving himself a chance by putting the ball in play, moving the baseball. Joe talks about all the time.
Yeah, and I think he's doing a better job just dictating at bats. Going up there, being aggressive, looking for a pitch in a certain spot early. And we always talk about the value of taking pitches, being disciplined, but yes, but also, bad hack there.
Rare strikeout.
Sinker, but it started last year actually being more aggressive early, attacking early in counts, and just having an understanding of what you want to do. And I think when you're struggling in the way he was, your mind just gets clouded and you got too many thoughts going on. You get in a little bit of a roll, and now you're looking for a certain pitch in a certain zone and you just get after it.
Baez looks at a strike. Bases loaded, 2 outs, swing and a miss, 0-2.
More time, you see that toe pointed right towards center field, and then down he goes. He makes Steve Cishek look conventional.
Simber has the sign from Hedges, and the pitch. Baez with a late cut got a piece of it. Cub fans showing their love for Mr. Baez. Boy, there might be as many Cub fans here as we see in Milwaukee on occasion. They have been really loud all weekend. Friday night, that game that went to extras, I mean, that had an October feel to it.
Yeah, the Padre fans responded to all the Cub fans making noise in the ballpark, and it was a lot of energy again last night. Right now, the Padre fans are just kind of dispirited, I would say. You have to figure better days ahead for the Padres with all the young prospects that they have.
Simber strikes out Baez to somewhat limit the damage, but the Cubs now lead 7-1 in the 6th.
Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. One more for Big John. At 81 pitches.
Renfroe skies foul. Mississippi native. How about this? In his major league debut, he was intentionally walked in his first career plate appearance. Guessing that doesn't happen very often.
It's got to be good for the ego, right? Played his college ball at Mississippi State. Have an outstanding program there. Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, Jeff Brantley, Jonathan Papelbon, many others.
We just saw Will Clark in San Francisco.
Will the Thrill. Man, could he hit. I think he could play. Good defender, too. They say back in the day his answering machine, when you called it if he wasn't home, it'd say that it would play "The Thrill Is Gone."
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. The Foo Fighters are back at Wrigley Field this summer for 2 shows only, Sunday and Monday, July 29th and 30th. Don't miss out on their 2018 Concrete and Gold Tour. Tickets are on sale now for both shows at Cubs.com/concerts. Will Clark's first career plate appearance resulted in a home run off Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, I was there.
1986.
Yeah.
Mike Krukow got the win at the Astrodome that day.
Bobby Thickman, also a Mississippi State guy.
Can't forget our buddy Jeff Brantley.
No, I threw JB out
you
there.
Did. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. All right. Well, we mentioned him twice then.
Yeah. He's worthy.
Cowboy is watching us, and we didn't mention him. That would not be good.
Yeah.
2-2 on Hosmer. And a base hit to center for Eric Hosmer, his second hit of the series.
Number 5 for the Pods, 4 singles, and the Villanueva home run.
Christian is 2 for 2. Wide for ball 1. Braves won, Phillies lost today, so Atlanta half game behind the Phillies atop the East. The Nationals beat the Mets, so they'll go into the break at the 500 mark and 5.5 out.
Phillies still in play for Machado, if you believe what you read, and apparently they've upped their offer.
Brewers too. Might there be more urgency for Milwaukee after this brutal road trip?
Steven Strasburg is still out, correct?
I'll find out. Villanueva on for the 3rd time. He is.
Apparently down in the minor leagues on a rehab assignment. Jim Hickey's going to go out and chat with John and others, and I suspect somebody will start to loosen in the Cubs bullpen. So perusing his cheat sheet, anticipate upcoming matchups here. Nobody on the Padre bench that really scared you. That would have been Reyes, Fran Mill. That's tremendous power. He's the guy they burned earlier in the game when Perella got picked off second base when he was pinch hitting for the starter.
So 2 on with 1 out. As Lester nears 100 pitches on the day, and now there is some action in the Cubs bullpen as he fires a strike on the inside corner. James Norwood, the rookie, is up.
Jim Hickey's got a pretty good track record of good results immediately after a meeting. Yesterday, after he went out there, Randy Rosario gave up the home run to Renfroe, who was pinch hitting. Did you pose that to him when you interviewed him for radio
not.
today? Say what happened with the?
I did not. One and 2. Base hit center field. Hosmer around third. Glenn Hoffman will stop him. And the Padres have the bases loaded. Morella's second hit.
Now you can swing it a little bit. Lines that one into center and down 6. No need to be aggressive there. With Hoffman on a potential send.
I don't know if you noticed, but a smart little play there as Lester and Contreras were near each other as John got a new ball. That was not a mound visit. It was just a little quick conversation, which you are allowed to have kind of in the natural flow after a play has ended. So they might not have done that previous to this year. And instead, Contreras would have headed out to the mound. But you don't need to do that now. Galvis shoots one foul to left. All right, so he's going to back up home plate. And before he got there, Contreras made the catch. But right after that, they had a real quick conversation on his way back to the mound. Galvis got hit, and that'll be an RBI hit by pitch. 7-2. Not sure what John is wondering. Maybe a swing. Hit him in the back leg. And clearly no swing.
Padres threatening to make this thing interesting, but it's not going to happen against John. It'll be James Norwood coming out of the pen.
So Joe will go to the bullpen. Cubs lead 7-2, 6th inning, and we're back in a minute. By Budweiser.
I'm a blossom across the street. I lie and wait until sundown. I saw it happen. I saw you murdered. I watched the night as it went down. They took the rest, and now you're running around and around.
It's Lipstick by Ariel Pink on Bud Fan Cannon. Here's James Norwood, third appearance on this trip.
One in San Francisco. He suffered the loss there, his debut, and just a third of an inning in the ball game last night.
Bases loaded, a run in, And Austin Hedges has been hot here as of late. 3 hits Friday, including the go-ahead RBI in the 8th.
Mid to upper 90s fastball from Norwood. Good split finger pitch, slider. Started the year at AA. He's combined with AA and AAA. Pitched to a 2.13 ERA, 44 punch-outs in 29 innings.
Carlos Asuaje on deck. Left-handed batter. Strike called, and it's 1-2. That can often be a real big swing pitch in an at bat. That 1-1. Norwood's 1-2 is popped in the air. David Bodie makes the catch. In foul ground, 2 outs. And here is the pinch hitter, Asuaje.
John Lester's final pitching line greatly affected by the performance of Norwood here. John leaves with 2 in, but responsible for all 3 on base.
Ball 1. Four for 6 in the series for Asuaje. Plus 3 walks.
And 2 singles, 2 walks in the ball game last night for Asuaje.
Craig Stammen, veteran right-hander, up in the Padres bullpen.
Contact hitter, doesn't hit for much power. 2 home runs this year, 143 at bats.
Now 3-1. Padres' run came on a hit batter with the bases loaded. That was Galvis, forcing Hosmer home.
Well, he had a little power to his bat when you put him in a situation where he can sit dead red.
And he missed it. 3-2.
A little 97 for you.
Go time for the runners, and fouled away. As you see during this sequence, on 3 of the pitches, Norwood wide right.
They'll step out and try to ice him.
Try it again. Ball 4. 7-3.
Yep. Joe wondering where this pitch was. Apparently just a little bit inside. You see Contreras trying to bring it back.
Manny Margot, bases still loaded. 2 runs in. And a strike. Good block by Contreras. Perella the runner at third, Galvis at second, Suaje at first. 2 singles, 2 walks, and a hit batter here in the 6th. As the Padres try to get back in this game. Runners hold again. Perella not very aggressive down there at third.
Yeah, and I think that's the right play. Still down 4 runs, bases loaded. Probably a little wary of taking too big of a secondary lead, having been picked off by Contreras once already today. Nothing going on in the Cubs bullpen right now.
Yeah, they're asking Norwood to get this final out. Swing and a miss. 3-2. Same spot against a Suaje who took ball 4 on 3-2. Here it comes. Popped into right. This will get him out of it. Chris Bryant makes the grab. Padres get 2. That's it. It's 7-3 Cubs as we head to the 7th.
We are back. It's the top half of the 7th inning. Cubs lead the Padres now 7-3. Villanueva has moved from third base to shortstop. We got a new third sacker out there for the Pods. It's Carlos Asuaje, excuse me, who had come in to pinch hit. And the new pitcher is the veteran right-hander Craig Stammen. And he's pitching for the 42nd time. 4-1, 3.05 ERA. Bulk of his career spent with the Washington Nationals. This is year number 2 with San Diego.
Strike to Russell.
Sinkers and sliders from Stammen.
Off the outside. 1-1. Here's the pitch. 2-1. John Lester charged with 3 runs all earned in his 5 1/3.
Well, if the Cubs hang on and don't relinquish the lead, John Lester will be a winner for the 12th time.
He got him.
Good sink piece.
Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Len and JD from San Diego, along with our WGN crew, as the Cubs look for the 3-game sweep and a 2.5-game lead in the division, as Zobrist finds the hole on the right side for a 1-out single.
Ninth hit for the Cubs yesterday. Everybody in the starting lineup except for Kyle Hendricks had at least 1 base hit, and they're trending that way again this afternoon.
So if the Cubs win this game, they'll be 55-38. Milwaukee is 55-43. So their 2.5-game lead will result from 5 games in hand, and all those extra games losses for Milwaukee. That's a little odd. Base hit to left. Contreras. So what does that mean? It means that the Cubs kind of have 5 freebies.
Yeah, you can't make up. Once you've lost them, you can't get them back.
Big day for David Bodie. Hit by pitch, walk, stolen base run, double.
Cubs have had base runners in just about every inning in this series.
Do we think Galvis left because of the hit by pitch? It's rare to
It didn't look like much.
see Andy Green take him out of a game. He's started every contest so far. Bodie cuts and misses, and it's 1-2. David's power game has really shown up the last couple of years. A career high 14 in the minor leagues last year, 12 in 55 games with Iowa this season, and has one here at the big league level. Pedro Strop is up. We saw Strom for the Padres and probably a Strop for the Cubs. Bodie strikes out. 2 down.
Stanton not just sinking that ball, but that's a hard sinker. 94 miles per hour.
Schwarber for Norwood.
Should be a good matchup for Schwarber, who's a good low ball hitter.
Cubs will have one more trip out west. It'll be their final road trip of the regular season at Arizona. And everything else will be in the Central and Eastern time zones. Well, the games will be played in all the time zones, but where the Cubs physically will be Central and East. That missed outside.
Kyle's home run last night to left field on a two-seam fastball that was moving down and away, similar to what Stammen features. Kind of forced the pitcher out of his game a little bit. Or not.
Who goes deeper in the home run derby, Schwarber or Baez?
Total distance, one swing of the bat, or
Just
boy, that's a tough call.
yeah.
I'd probably lean a little bit Schwarber on that one.
Okay. Runners go on 3-2, and he struck him out. So Stammen records 3 punch-outs in the 7th, and the Cubs strand a couple. They lead this game 7-3 in the 7th.
Cubs baseball has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Toyota, let's go places. Wintrust, home of Cubs checking and debit cards. Open an account today at wintrust.com/Cubs. Lexus, experience amazing. Wendy's, home of the 4 for $4. Now with more choices than ever at participating locations for a limited time. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional offers on select Audi models. Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today. And by Budweiser. Join the team that enjoys responsibly. Budweiser reminds you to drink wiser.
Let's take a look at the Ford drive. In the rain, Josh Bell with a double over the head of Lorenzo Cain. Tying run scores. Here comes the winning run. Joey Cora, man. As Colin Moran got in. So the Cubs with a 2-game lead, trying to make it 2.5 going into the break.
So if we watch that replay again, it would have been interesting, because even had they handled that ball at home plate, they would have given Moran the plate anyway, because he wasn't given a lane to slide to. Here comes Pedro Strop for the 40th time, and a 2.35 ERA. Myers has had a bad day. Been caught looking twice on borderline pitches, grounded out on a slow roller to third, which he kind of slowed down halfway down the line, thinking it was going to be foul.
1-1 on him. Cubs lead 7-3 in the 7th.
Charter back home, I imagine, will be a little light, with the players scattering here and there for the All-Star break. I'd be surprised if some guys just stayed right out here and did a little beach time.
Close, didn't get it. How about the A's? They won again. Beat the Giants in San Francisco to take 2 out of 3. So they'll go into the break 13 games over 500.
Yeah, Billy Beane was quoted the other day saying he anticipates being a buyer at the trade deadline.
Myers hustling this time. Bodie's throw got him. Well, he made that look easy, and it was certainly not.
Yeah, probably an easier play for Russell based on the angle. Third basemen are trained. If you can get it, get it. Not a whole lot of drama in the American League. I mean, obviously, in the East, it's going to be Boston and New York. One will win the division. One will be a wild card team.
Yeah, probably the second wild card. That's the big question. And I think Oakland now 3 back of Seattle.
If Seattle lost today, that would be the case.
And the Mariners did 4-3 at Colorado.
I guess Tampa would still be in play for that second wild card spot. They're having a nice year. They're 17 games out of first place, but within range of that second wild card spot. 3 games better than 500 right now.
Deep center, Hayward has no play. It's a home run. Renfroe with his second homer in as many days, and it's 7-4.
And there's no doubt in his mind, he knew he got it. That ball really explodes off his bat.
The Rays lost 11-7 in 10 innings. So it must have been a game-ending grand slam for Minnesota. Let's see. Ryan Dozier with a grand slam in the 10th to win it for the Twins. Jim Hickey out to the mound, 2-0 on Hosmer.
Didn't the Red Sox do that yesterday? Didn't they have an extra inning grand slam? That sounds familiar to me.
Xander Bogaerts for the 10th inning grand slam. Red Sox a 5-2 winner over the Blue Jays today, so they go into the break 68-30. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Mookie Betts leads the majors in batting average at .359. JD Martinez 29 homers, 80 knocked in. Line shot over Baez. Villanueva now playing short. He has singled, homered, walked, and scored twice. Strop not happy with Brian Blackney. Baez dropped it.
Of course.
Double play. Yes. Addison Russell, nice recovery. And it will go 4-6-3, even though Russell did a lot of the work.
Even when he boots it, it goes to the right spot. He's living a charmed life.
We get into the 8th inning. Cubs 7, Padres 4. Long bullpen day for San Diego. Craig Stammen in his 2nd inning of work, and a strike to Rizzo.
Strom was good. He went 3 innings in relief of the starter Lauer, who only lasted 2. Got 5 off Lauer, 1 off Strom, 1 off Simber.
Productive day for Rizzo. Single, double, sac fly, intentional walk. 2 runs. All from the leadoff spot. It's fair. That's the question. Foul. Didn't miss by much.
It's amazing how many times he takes that inside pitch and is able to keep it fair. He's right up on top of home plate, obviously. So quick with the hands, gets the hands pulled in.
Yeah, looked foul.
Renfroe. He may be a little biased.
Down the left field line. Foul. It's Justin Wilson up. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
That thing was just crazy. Hey, Cub fans, today's bona fide player of the game is none other than John Lester. Looking for his 12th win of the year. If he gets it, he will be tied for the league lead with Max Scherzer and Aaron Nola. Wrap your hand around the original Italian beef of the Chicago Cubs at one of the 25 Bona locations. What he did today: 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 punchouts, 101 pitches. Well, more and more in the modern game, pitchers are starting to go to the 4-seam elevated fastball to combat launch angle guys that are trying to lift the ball. A lot of 2-seam guys are starting to mix in more 4-seamers. Stammen making a solid commitment to his sinker. You see why. The action on that pitch, at least today, is really something. He threw Riz back in the day, we would have been yelling, hey, check the ball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Craig Stammen. Hayward 1 for 4. And the pitch outside.
John's ERA, John Lester, that would be creeps up a little bit today. He'll finish the first half with a 2.58 earned run average.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. As you mentioned, if he wins it, it'll be his 12th against just 2 defeats. It would be 8 wins in his last 9 starts, plus a no decision.
Yeah, and that earned run average almost 2 runs better than last year. It's been a great bounce back season for him.
Well, remember, he had that real bad one at home in his last start before the break last year. It, a couple of short starts with a lot of runs that
yeah,
skewed the season ERA. 2-2. Stammen turns and fires, and Hayward bounces it foul.
just not much you can do when a guy has this kind of life on a sinking fastball. Swing over the top of it or beat it into the ground.
Perella will get him. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cubs 7, Padres 4. The USS Midway. Let's check out the Cubs' upcoming schedule, brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts, Glory, Ram. And they're going to jump right back into it Thursday night. That's the first of 5 games in 4 days against the Cardinals, and 9 games in 8 days on the next homestand. Cubs lead 7-4, bottom of the 8th, and it's left-hander Justin Wilson.
42nd trip for Justin, 3-2 with a 284.
Facing Perella, who is 2 for 3.
So Rafi Lopez out on deck.
Yeah, former Cub Rafi Lopez.
A left-handed hitter, there are no right-handed options on the bench. For Andy Green, he used them both.
Wilson's 2-0 on the inside. 2-1. Fastball 95. First full season with the Cubs. Wilson acquired in the middle of last year from Detroit on July 31st, along with catcher Alex Avila for Jamer Candelario, minor leaguer Isaac Paredes, and Cash. Full count on Perella.
The Giants have placed Jeff Samardzija back on the disabled list. Shoulder inflammation.
I think that's his third DL stint this year.
Yeah, second time due to the shoulder. 5 consecutive 200+ innings. He's been really durable. Just 44 2/3 innings so far this year.
Jeff's made 10 starts, 1-5 with a .539.
Velocity is down. Clearly something has been bugging him. When we were just there, they were optimistic that they were getting people back and healthy and in a pretty good position to make a run in the second half. Now they're in pretty good position to need to make a trade.
Another 3-2 from Wilson, and a fly ball to right. Chris Bryant, with the sunglasses on, makes the grab. Now the ex-Cub Rafi Lopez, whose first major league hit came off Clayton Kershaw back in 2014. '16th rounder of the Cubs out of Florida State in 2011. Joe really letting Ryan Blackney have it. That bottom of the zone strike he has not been given.
I think he wants to get run.
Two 2-0 on Lopez. Now 3-0. Ball 4. Brings up The catcher Hedges. Three-run lead, 8th inning. Ball one.
Zastryzny was in trying to finish off the ball game last night. Had some struggles, so Joe brought Cishek in to get the final 2 outs. Cishek has worked a lot. He may be down today, and Brandon Morrow is getting ready, no doubt for the 9th, but possibly for a little bit more. Bit of a bigger bite today, perhaps, for Morrow.
Former teammates chatting down at first base.
This is where you want to be aggressive. You flip the batting order over, you start to run into some guys with some pretty good juice in their bats.
Lopez will advance on a wild one.
Moment to clear the mind and reset.
Swing and a miss. It might have been ball 4, but it was fastball up, which hitters tend to like in favorable counts, especially.
Well, that's a good backspin fastball. It stays on plane.
He got him. That one was definitely off the plate, but Hedges couldn't help himself. 2 down.
That's a bad AB there. Overly aggressive. Down 3 runs, but Justin will take it.
Aswahe took a bases loaded walk, pinch hitting in the 6th. He's now playing 3rd. Strike. Runner at second base, 2 outs, 0-2. Carlos Aswahe. A well-attended series, 37-672 today over 38 for each of the first 2 night games.
Comes one of the more popular road draws in the game.
Wilson trying to put away Aswahe. Get out of the 8th inning. Here it is. Another do-over coming. Padres wore their alternate brown and gold combo unis on Friday. Their white home main look with the navy blue last night and the military camo today. Swing and a miss. Wilson strikes out Hedges and a Suaje to get out of it. And we go to the ninth. Cubs lead by 3. Statue of Mr. Padre Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest hitters who ever lived. We lost him too soon at age 54 in 2014. Entire career with the Padres, 20 years, 3,141 hits, career .338 average. '15-time All-Star, won 8 batting titles. And 5 Gold Gloves too. And early in his career, he stole bases.
Yeah, he had more power than people realized. He could just do everything. He was a guard at San Diego State on the basketball team.
Kirby Yates in the ninth. Against Javier Baez, who had the go-ahead RBI single in the first inning. The Cubs haven't trailed since, as he grounds out to Villanueva.
Yes, Kirby Yates is having quite a year out of the Padre bullpen. A bunch of strikeouts, very few walks, has allowed just 1 home run.
Pitch to Addison Russell. 2-seamer for a strike. Top of the order for the Pods in the bottom of the ninth. And it'll be Brandon Morrow, right now a save spot.
Remember, there was a time one year where I decided to keep a notebook, and I was going to log how I tried to get guys out and whether it was successful or not, what I should do. Short-lived because it was more work than I really wanted to do. But for Tony, I just had a question mark. No idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody ever really did figure out how to get him out. As Russell strikes out, 2 gone.
A lot of guys would just say, you know what, just throw it down the middle and get it over with. Hope he hits it at somebody. You're not going to fool him. That's the thing, when you really get a sense of how great he was when you look at his career numbers against the likes of, you know, Maddox and Glavine and some of the best pitchers in that generation.
So 20 years in the big leagues, most he ever struck out was 40 times.
It's a split finger pitch, and that's been a big weapon. It's a new pitch for him.
At age 39, 1999, 446 plate appearances, 14 strikeouts. He had 338.
And just a remarkable guy, very likable. You know, a lot of star players can be a little aloof, and
he was very approachable.
He was very,
He did some broadcasting here. He was coaching at his alma mater and doing some part-time broadcasting work here with the Padres. And Zobrist sends one to deep center, and at the wall it is caught by Margot. Got to the point where Tony wouldn't go down to the field a lot because he was getting ready for the game, and they just wanted to talk.
They just wanted to chat him up.
Yeah. Padres 7-4. A win here would be a series sweep, a 4-2 road trip, and win number 55.
And they put it in the capable hands of Brandon Morrow, who pitched for the 35th time. 21 saves and 23 tries and a 1.52 ERA.
Facing Manuel Margot. First pitch strike.
Averaging just under 98 miles per hour with his heater.
Ground ball wide of first.
His version of going soft is an 88-mile-an-hour slider that has real good depth, really gets on top of it. And he also will cut his fastball. That's the one you're going to see at 91 to 93.
Base hit to left to start it.
Second hit of the day for Margot. That was a slider, and it stayed up. Didn't have that good action. Padres have shown some fight in the late innings of these games. Where it gets a little dicey. Myers and Renfroe, Hosmer now all have power.
In tight to Myers. At one point the Cubs led this game 7-1. Padres got 2 in the 6th, and then the Renfroe homer in the 7th, and he's on deck. One and one.
Really good running action on his four-seam fastball, and almost to the point where it looks like a two-seamer, and he'll get in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. A lot of times that's the ground ball pitch for him.
Margot not going anywhere. Two-two pitch. Hayward will make the catch. Actually had to leave his feet as that ball was dipping and diving.
I don't know if it was knuckling or it just had some funky spin on it. Initially it looked like it was hit harder than it was. He had to fight it, but he won the battle.
Big first out. Didn't want Renfroe up there as the tying run with his home run power. Peg the outside edge. 1-1. Fastball 95-97 for Morrill. That is knocked down by Bodie. What a play.
How about this kid? How about David Bodie? Does it all. This is a two-base hit into the corner, and the Padres really have something cooking if not for that play by the rookie.
I've said it before, if not for the roster construction with the extra arm in the bullpen, he'd have been on this roster all year. It's getting to the point where every time he has to get sent out, it's kind of like There's absolutely no reason other than we have to because of the numbers crunch, but he has done everything and more that they've asked. One and 0 on Eric Hosmer. Cubs not concerned about that man at the bottom of your screen. They lead by 3 with 2 outs. Strike called. 2-1. Villanueva on deck is the tying run. Strike 2.
Osmond's not buying it, but it looked like it caught the inside corner. That's that movement I was talking about. That 4-seamer that looks like a 2-seamer.
Called strike 3. Cubs win. Cubs win. They sweep the series. And they've got a 2.5 game advantage on Milwaukee as they head into the break. Final score from San Diego, the Cubs 7, the Padres 4. We're back after this.